can. Okay.
Hi there.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Hi, Anna. Hi, Christina.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Anna from GreenGeeks, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Choose and Customize Your Theme in WordPress, with our guest speaker, Christina Hills, CEO of the Website Creation Workshop. I'm going to introduce Christina in a moment, but glad to have you here, Christina. So real quick, I want to say a couple of words about GreenGeeks for those of you who may be watching and may be not familiar with us. We're a 300% green energy web hosting provider, which essentially means we put back 3 times the power we consume into the grid in the form of renewable energy. We have been recognized by the US EPA since 2009 as a Green Power Partner, and we offer share hosting, reseller hosting, VPS, and dedicated servers. So moving on to our webinar, a few housekeeping items. Please go ahead and put your question in the Q&A, and Christina will be answering them at the end of her presentation. You can chat in the chat room, but remember to select everyone if you want everyone to see what you're discussing. And as always, we are recording this. So if you have to step away, don't worry, because we'll be sending you the recording in the next couple of days. We also have enabled live transcription for this webinar. So now you have the ability to enable them during the webinar by going to live transcript and then show subtitles. I'm going to introduce real quick Erica, who will be assisting with the chat and the Q&A with the GreenGeeks team. Hey, welcome, Erica. Do you want to say something? Introduce yourself.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I am Erica Barbosa from Costa Rica. I hope you enjoyed today the webinar with Christina and learn a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Okay, I'm going to say a few words about Christina. Christina Hills, she's the creator of the Website Creation Workshop. She has been passionately teaching WordPress, non-techie small business owners, authors, experts, coaches, and consultants. She puts the fun into teaching technology and empower business owners to be in full control of their marketing and online presence. She has been running her online WordPress training program to an international audience since 2008. She's an expert speaking, teaching on a variety of other topics such as email marketing, membership sites, and marketing, all with a focus on WordPress. Before becoming an entrepreneur, Christina worked as a digital artist for the network promotion division of NBC TV, and then as a senior technical director in the feature film division at George Lucas Industrial Light and Magic, with film credits for Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and E.T. the re-release. That's quite a resume, Christina. Welcome, Christina. Would you like to say hi, say something about yourself, or just dive into the presentation?
I have it in my slides.
Great.
Because
Then
I
let's
like
start.
to teach with pictures, so I have lots of pictures.
Great. So we can start.
Okay, so let me share my, hold on. I got 2 monitors here. Let me just get everything in the right place and share my screen. You ready for me to do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Let me back this up to our title screen. Okay. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Can I go ahead and start?
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Christina Hills, and we're going to be talking about how to choose and customize your WordPress theme. And I am an international WordPress coach and teacher. And my passion and gift is teaching technology and making it easy. Since 2008, I've taught more than 4,200 small business owners and entrepreneurs, people just like you, from all over the globe, 42 countries and 5 continents. And before that, I was a visual effects artist. This is my IMDb page. And I worked on shows such as movies such as Star Wars, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and Jurassic Park, and that was a lot of fun. So we're going to be talking about WordPress themes. And the theme, as you know, is the look and feel of your site. And these are some screenshots from some of my students. So picking a theme is like picking outfits. So there's you, and you're the same person, but when you change your theme, it gives a different vibe, right? So our gal has chosen this nice red dress, and it's the same you, your same content, just with a different look and feel. So when you're trying out themes, you want to think about, does the theme have the look and feel that you want for your website that you want to convey? So here is an example. I've got a few examples of people using different themes. So this gal, it was the same website, but she changed themes. So before, her after looks much better, much more professional, like she spent a ton of money on a designer. This one looked good as well, but it's neat to try out different themes and sort of see how the feel is. Here's some more of my students. Now this is a little bit different. It's the same theme, but different websites. So don't think, oh, if I pick a theme and somebody else also has this theme, it's going to look the same and people will know. Like looking at my screen, you wouldn't know these three women all chose the same theme. And then here's another one, Hestia, the Hestia theme. Different websites, same theme. So when you select a theme for your site, use off-the-shelf themes. And I hope everybody knows that term, off-the-shelf. So that means either free or pro, you buy it or you download it instead of using a custom theme from a designer. So there's lots of great designers. There's probably designers here on this call today. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're working with a designer and they make something so custom, but then they go off and do something else and then you lose track of them, sometimes it's hard to make changes. So I always recommend for the entrepreneur, more on the non-techie side, to use an off-the-shelf theme. Does that make sense, Anna? Off-the-shelf themes? Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going to jump in on how to find a free theme. And Anna, you just let me know in the chat if I'm going too fast, I can slow down, okay? Because I can't see the chat while I present. All right, so how to find a free theme. So there's two ways to find a free theme. And in this presentation, I'm aiming at more of a beginner level, just so that everybody can follow along. So there's two ways to find a free theme. One is inside your WordPress admin, and two is on the WordPress.org website. So if you go inside your admin dashboard, this is a screenshot, you'll see at the top, you'll have your active theme, and then maybe some other extra themes that you have in there. It's totally fine to have a bunch of themes in there, but when you get to the point where you are kind of settled on your theme, you're going to want to delete the extras. Although it's always a good idea to keep one default theme. So a default theme is a theme from WordPress, so 2023, 2022, 2021, etc. Just keep one of those around inside. All right, so these are the themes installed inside WordPress. Then if you go to WordPress.org, that is the official free theme directory. And I'm hoping everybody here is familiar with WordPress.org and has gone there. All the themes you find at WordPress.org are free. And this is referred to as the directory. So if you hear people talk about the directory, you'll know what they're referring to. Now, I want to go through how do you find and evaluate these free themes? Because as of the time I took this screenshot, there were over 10,000 free themes. And there's no way you're going to be able to go through 10,000 themes. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of what to look for when evaluating free themes. All right, so when you go there to WordPress.org and you click the drop down, you get to themes, you'll find popular. So these are popular themes. Now this is a little misleading when it says popular, because anytime WordPress updates, it installs one of the default themes. So these themes become very popular because WordPress is automatically putting it into millions of websites. So now some of you might like these default themes. I've never found them very useful personally, but these are the popular. So there's a tab here that says popular. Then there's a tab that says latest. So the latest that someone has uploaded. And then they have a block themes section. So you can check that out. And then also a feature filter. And I don't have a specific slide for that. I've never found this feature filter that useful, but you might try it out and find it useful. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through how to pick a theme and how to evaluate it and what to look for. So maybe you're searching for a term, or you're looking at one of these popular ones, so you would click on it. And here is a screenshot from the Hestia theme, which is one of my favorite free themes from WordPress, because there's a lot you can do with it and it looks great right out of the box. So here's what you want to look for. You want to look for last updated and active installations. So this was just last updated just recently, a month ago. So that's really good. You don't want something that's hasn't been updated in years. And active installations, the more people using a theme, the more documentation there is, the more the company's kind of worked out any kinks. So if you see active installations of like 50 or 100, that's really not very many, and I would stay away from that. You also want to look at star ratings. Now, we all know people can give bad ratings online, Yelp, and all these other places. But if I look at these ratings, like that is a lot of 5-star ratings. So do look at that. Okay, now, as I mentioned before, you want to make sure it's not outdated. So this screenshot, it'll say the theme hasn't been updated in over 2 years. But if you see something like this and it's really old, just stay away. This one also doesn't have a lot of active installations. So you want to stay away from themes that they're not keeping up to date. And then you want to check the theme homepage. So this screenshot is from the directory from WordPress.org, but every theme will have a link to their homepage. And that's when you get to evaluate the theme and the theme companies some more. So you go to their theme homepage and look for their demo. So every theme company should have a demo. And by having a demo, it shows you that they've put time and effort into displaying their theme and attracting customers. It means they're really invested in this theme. So you want to view the demo. So here's a screenshot of the demo. Now, if you find a theme and you look at the demo and you like pretty much everything about it, that'll be an easy theme for you to customize. If you look at the demo and you want to change a million things, and I'm not just meaning colors and text, but if you radically want to change it, you're probably going to have to work harder than if you found something that's like, hey, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. I'm going to go for it. So I find for people who are eager to get their site up looking great, look at the demo and make those decisions. Does it look pretty much like what you want it to look like? And for those of you using WooCommerce, look at the demo and see how the WooCommerce store page is going to look, because each theme is going to have it display slightly differently. And it's nice to pick a theme where you're like, hey, I really like the way it displays WooCommerce. Now, if you're listening to me and you don't know what WooCommerce is, it is the most popular plugin for an online store. And if you're not using WooCommerce or you don't want to have an online store, don't worry about it. That's not a factor that you would need to consider. Then you want to browse their documentation. And I'm not saying you've got to go and read all the documentation. Just, do they have it? Do you like the layout? Does it seem like it's going to be easy to work with? So I have rejected themes because their documentation was either non-existent or didn't exist at all. So I want a theme company that's going to have documentation. Do I read the documentation? Very rarely do I read it. It's only when I need to. But again, it shows you that this theme company has put the time and the effort and the energy into their theme. So they're serious about being in business. And then I go and look at the support forums on WordPress.org and how active is it? So there's a top read before posting. Now in this slide, you'll see it says 5 years. That's totally fine. That's their read this before you ask a question that we've already answered elsewhere. But these others, 6 days ago, 2 weeks ago, that's pretty active. If you look and it's been a year or 2 years since there's been any activity, then that probably means that theme is abandoned and people have lost interest in it. So when I say evaluate how active the support forum is, that doesn't mean you need to stop and read everything. You just want to know there's activity there. Then what you want to do is, do they have a pro version? So if a free theme has a pro version, that's a very good sign. That doesn't mean you have to buy the pro version, but what that means is this company is in business, they're selling their pro version, and you want companies to stay around. So if you pick a theme that you like, you want them to have a pro version because you want to know that they're going to stay in business. So just make sure they have a pro version. And then this is kind of a nice to have, like you don't have to have this, but if they have a community, like this is an example of a Facebook community. Now, not every theme company has it, and not everybody wants to be on Facebook, but it's nice to know that they have a community and members who are also using Hestia may be sharing tips and tricks that they've learned about. So it's nice that they have a community. It's not a showstopper, but that's something to look for. All right, so here are some things that you'll want to avoid. You'll want to avoid themes that have this. So avoid themes that are outdated, very few installs, poor reviews, support form is not active, poor documentation, and no pro version. So that's going to cut out a lot of themes. And then once you decide to try it, then go inside WordPress. So what I've been doing is I've been walking you through how to evaluate a theme at WordPress.org because it's bigger, you've got a bigger monitor, it's easier to make the evaluation. But then when you're like, okay, I found a theme I like, I'm going to go inside WordPress. You want to go into your admin dashboard and go to Appearance Themes, Add New Theme, and then search for the name of the theme. And if it doesn't come up, you might have a typo. So look for that. That's happened to me. So you search for your theme, it will come up, the free theme, then you want to install and activate the theme. All right, so these themes, since they are free, just install, activate, and try them out, and you can switch as often as you want. So don't be shy with the free themes. I'll do that. I'll go in, I'll activate it, and I'll look around and, you know, is it intuitive? Is it easy for me to sort of figure out what to do? And if I don't like it, I'll just switch to another theme. So it is a lot of fun theme switching. Now, as I mentioned before, the default WordPress theme, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, they go all the way back. I forget how far, maybe to 2010. I personally have never found them very good. They're very plain, and they're mostly for developers who want to start with that default theme and then build upon it. The people who I teach are more non-techie entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, small business owners, and most of the people who I teach, they're not interested in designing themes. Now, listening to me today, there might be some theme designers, but I tend to stay away from these. So that's just my tip. All right, now once you pick a theme, you will then customize it in the customizer. And if I'm going too fast when we get to the Q&A, I'm happy to go back through any slides. So just want to let everybody know that. So once you pick your theme, you'll go into the customizer. And here is where you find the customizer under Appearance Customize, or up at the top. Now, for some themes, there may be other areas inside your admin with theme info. Like this is the Sydney theme and it has Sydney info. So just keep that in mind. There's often other areas once you install a theme, but every theme will have a customizer. Now, if you have a very old site with a very old theme, there may not be a customizer. I've seen that, but by now most everybody is on a theme that has the customizer. So these are just two different places to find it. So now once you're in the customizer, these are all the areas that you go to customize your theme. And these nice little pencil icons are really convenient, because if you don't know where something is, you click on it. See, like the header, like if I didn't know where the header was, I would click on that and it would take me right to the area inside the customizer. So all themes have a customizer, but each theme will have different options. So if you go into the customizer for one theme, and then you go into the customizer for another theme, they might put things in different areas. For example, site identity. Sometimes site identity is right here at the top layer, but sometimes it's hidden somewhere else. And the site identity is your site title and tagline. Anyhow, this is in the customizer is where you change the settings of the theme and customize it for how you want. So this is the customizer for the Divi Extra theme, and you can see, if I back up, it has a different set of things in it. So just keep that in mind. They may be slightly different. All right, so now I'm going to move on to page builders. And Anna, is the speed okay? Just want to make sure you can just...
Yes, I think it's great.
Okay, good. So now I'm going to move on to page builders. If you want to have more control over your layout and formatting, you might want to use a page builder with your theme. Now, you don't have to use a page builder, but you might want to use a page builder. So a page builder is another way to edit pages and posts via an enhanced drag and drop visual editor. And so here's an example of Elementor, and I'm sure there's people here who use Elementor, and it has this drag and drop way of customizing your page or your blog posts. And Elementor got very popular when Gutenberg came out, because Gutenberg, the block editor, not everybody liked the way it worked, and they've done a lot to make it better. So this is an alternative. If you don't want to use the block editor, you can use Elementor. And there are many different page builders. Here are some popular ones: Elementor, the Divi plugin. So Divi is a theme, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but it also comes as a plugin. So maybe you have a site and you really like your theme, but you just want one page to use the Divi builder. So that is what their plugin is called, the Divi builder. Then there's also the Beaver builder, page builder, and then Seed Prod, and there's others as well. I just picked out some popular ones. All right, so let's talk about free themes versus premium paid themes. And so sometimes I use the word premium, sometimes I use the word paid. It means the same thing. So if you hear premium, it means you got to pay for it. And sometimes most of the time you pay by the year for, it's like a subscription. Some companies have lifetime. So if you find a premium theme you like, and they have a lifetime option, it's usually worth the money. So again, if you find a free theme, consider buying the Pro. Now, you don't have to, but sometimes there are extra things that make your life easier, so it's worth the $50 a year or $60 a year for the Pro version. And some companies give you a higher level of support when you buy the Pro version. And some themes are paid only. For example, the Divi theme is one of the themes I really like. They only have a paid version. There is no free version. So if you go to WordPress.org and search for Divi, you're not going to find it. It does take a little bit longer to learn. This is what I've found, but it can do a lot more. And if you are a web designer and that's your business and you build sites for other people, you can make amazing looking sites, and it won't be very hard for you at all, and your clients will be totally thrilled. And this is a screenshot of one of my students, the site she built. It comes with multiple options and multiple layouts. So these are some screenshots. A couple of them are my sites. The other three are my students' sites. So it can look radically different from website to website with Divi. So Divi is kind of like you're inside a airplane cockpit, and there's just a ton of things you can do with it. It's really an exciting theme. It also has pre-made layouts, and you can take the pre-made layout and make it your own. And a lot of other theme companies also have pre-made layouts, so that's something you might want to look for. So here's an example of a layout, and one of my students took this layout and made it her own. A different student took the same layout and made it different. She changed the colors and switched some things around about it. So as you can see, you can take their layout. Now this student who took this layout, Louisa, it's a little bit closer to the look of the pre-made layout that you get for free with the theme. Like the colors are the same, but this other gal took it further and changed the colors. So you would not, no one would know that this came from this. So don't worry about that if you're like, oh, it's going to look like everybody else's. It's really not. All right, so now here's another tip. And this one, you're going to want to write down this URL. How to know what theme a website is using. And this website, wpthemedetector.com, It's free. You'll want to write this down, wpthemedetector.com. You go there, you put in the URL of a site you've seen. So any site, anybody's site, any site on the internet, if it's a WordPress site, you put in the URL and then it will let you know what theme it's using. It'll also show you what plugins that website uses. Now, sometimes it doesn't show all of them. And if you look at a site, sometimes it will return that it's a custom design. So, just look for that. But this is really convenient. So if I see a site, I'm like, wow, I really like that site. What theme are they using? I just go to WP Theme Detector. All right, so now I'm going to pivot and talk about testing your theme for mobile, right? How does your theme look on a mobile device? Does it look good, right? Does it look good on a desktop, a tablet, or a phone, smartphone? When your site is not mobile responsive, you're going to get, and I'm sure everyone's experienced this, tiny text, tiny pictures. You got to pinch and zoom. It just makes it not fun to go to the site. And also Google decrements sites, sort of penalizes, I forget what the right word is, if your site's not mobile responsive. So you're going to want to make sure it is. And here's what people see when your site is mobile responsive, meaning the text changes, the images change and shift based on the size of the monitor. So you'll want to look at your site and see how it responds on mobile. Because many people, they wake up, they grab their phone, and they start their day that way. It's just how it is. Well, inside the customizer, if you haven't noticed it, it's kind of subtle. Down at the bottom, you can click and it will show you what the site will look on mobile, tablet, or desktop. So that's another thing you want to check for when you're trying out themes. How is it going to look? And I've got a screenshot of a theme. This is a very old theme. See, it's not mobile responsive. The text is not wrapping. The image is not adjusting. And you have to scroll side to side to see it. See here, if you can kind of see this, the bars totally in the center, the text and the image have adjusted. But with this theme, it's not. So that is something you'll want to look for. Now, this makes it really convenient if you're working on a desktop to try this out, but there's nothing like grabbing your phone and looking at your site. How is it going? How does it look on mobile? And you also want to think about this if you're using a logo on your site. How is the logo going to look when it's on a different sized monitor? And you can see that this is adjusting based on the monitor, and it looks really good. So if you have a designer design you a logo, make sure it's not really long, because then it won't work well on mobile. And there is a Google mobile friendly test. So google.com/webmaster/tools/mobile-friendly. I have a shortcut, christinasresources.com/isitmobile, or you can just go to Google if you don't want to write these down and just Google mobile friendly test, and then Google will let you know how it's going to look on mobile. Now, the problem, sometimes Google will return warnings that are not a real problem. So, but it's a great first step to see, okay, is it going to pass the mobile friendly test? All right, so now I'm going to go a little bit into homepage design versus the blog homepage. So let me bring up the next screenshot. So when you're building your website, you want to think about, do you want your blog on the home page, or do you want some kind of welcome to my website? And I call it a welcome home page, but you'll replace that with whatever your big headline for your site is. So you want to think about, do you want your blog on your homepage or not? It's really up to you how you want your site to be. Many people have a welcome homepage and then they have a tab in their navigation to take people to the blog. So this gal's one of my students. She has her blog on her homepage. And then this guy who's a business coach, he doesn't have it on his homepage. So that's something to think about. And everybody often has a really strong opinion. And either one is fine. It just depends upon the site you're building. So here's an example blog homepage design. And this is often referred to as like a magazine style site where you go and there's all these different articles that you can read. And then here is Thomas's. Again, he's an executive coach and he's got this welcome page design. And actually looking at this, he doesn't even have a blog. Like, you don't have to have a blog. I recommend it, having a blog, because when you have a blog, you can write articles about your industry, about you or your business, and it becomes something that you can share, also referred to as content marketing. And I don't have slides for this, but when you have a blog and you're posting somewhat regularly, it lets Google know, hey, there's something new. Hey, this is an active site. So I really recommend having a blog. Now I want to talk about customizing your home page. So some themes give you the option for a custom home page. So what do I mean by that? I mean, built into the design of that theme is this separate homepage design, which is different from all the other interior pages of the site, and also different from how the blog looks. So you might want to consider that. Now, some people don't use it, but it's kind of a like, oh, wow, that's nice. This theme has this custom homepage design. Here's another one with the Hestia theme, and this is kind of a zoomed out. There's these custom homepage, and there's these different sections you can turn on or off, and that's all done in the customizer. So when I teach people to build a website, there's some people here who've had a website for years. There's some people listening to me who are just getting started. Work on your interior pages first before doing your home page, because as you get clear on your mission, you get clear on your mission and you get clear on your site when you do the interior pages first. So what do I mean? You know, your About Us page, your products and services page, your contact page, maybe if you have an FAQ, work on those first, because what your website is about will change slightly as you put it together. So do your homepage last. And everybody always wants to do the homepage first because that's the first page people go to, but it's really a lot easier if you do it last. All right, so here is my tip. This is a free plugin called Theme Check, and it's really designed for theme designers. But if you pick a theme and you just want to make sure that the theme is conforming to all the latest standards, you can put this plugin in and then run it, and it will let you know if the theme you've chosen is up to snuff. So then you can just turn it off and delete it. So this is a theme check, wordpress.org/plugin/theme check. You can just go there and search for theme check. All right, bottom line, I'm almost at the end. bottom line when picking a theme, you want to go with a reputable company. So, often you'll find it from WP Theme Detector, or someone will say, hey, I've tried this theme, it's really great. So go with a reputable company, look at the popularity, how many downloads are there, evaluate the theme demo, right? So evaluate the theme by looking at the theme demo, evaluate the documentation. Again, you don't have to read it all, just like, do they have it, and do they have pictures, and do you like the way it looks? Do they have a pro version? Very important. You want the company to stay in business. See if they have a community. Nice to have, not a deal breaker. And don't let the price be the deciding factor. So if the theme you want has a fee, if it's doing all these great things, it's totally worth it. And we're not talking about thousands of dollars, right? Most themes, the paid version is under $100 a year. So don't shy away from that. And then try them out. Try out free themes. And here I just want to show you how my site changed over the years, because your site will probably change. So when I first created the website creation workshop, this is what my site looked like. Then I switched themes and started refining my colors. Then I switched themes again. And then I've settled on the elegant themes theme for a long time. So it's normal that over time you're going to want to change the look and feel. And that's the great thing about WordPress. It makes it really, really easy to change your site. So go ahead, pick a theme, be bold, try out as many as you want. Again, don't be afraid to try them, and don't be afraid to be like, well, someone recommended this, but man, I'm just not liking it. So I am going to switch themes and try something out. I have a PDF checklist that you can go and download, websitecreationclass.com/my checklist. You'll also find it on the right-hand side of my blog, and connect with me. I would love to get to know you better. Here are all the different ways to connect with me. websitecreationworkshop.com. Go check out my blog. I post every week a WordPress tip. And I don't have a question slide, so I'm ready to go to questions.
Thank you. I'm gonna read the Q&A for you, the questions.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Stephen says, is the problem with the theme filter at WordPress.org really that the creators are not tagging their themes well?
Some of them are not tagging them well. I just, haven't found it that useful, and I haven't used it in years, honestly. So you might, there were tags for like the color blue, and like that's not that useful. But if you find it useful, then go ahead and use it. I tried it many years ago, didn't find it that useful, so I stopped using it. But I think if you're looking for like a WooCommerce compatible theme, or a theme that works with the Elementor page builder, then it might be useful.
Great. Then we have Michael saying, one of my brands has a unique animation visual identity. For themes with large photographs, is it possible or a good idea to replace the photos?
For themes with large photographs, yeah. So themes will come with a bunch of photos. Some theme companies let you use the photos, some don't. So you should definitely replace the photos with your own photos.
Okay. And then Michael again here saying he's a beginner, non-technical entrepreneur. I thought we were to access WordPress templates through GreenGeeks. Do we need a WordPress account or equivalent?
Well, maybe you can answer that. I mean, GreenGeeks is the hosting, and I just want to give a huge shout out to GreenGeeks. I absolutely love your hosting, because you guys make it so easy to communicate. And it's one of the, I think it's one of the only theme companies I've never had to call you on the phone. So that's just amazing. So when you get, and I'm going to speak, but I know you guys can probably speak more to this. So when you get your GreenGeeks account, it's very easy. You can go inside and install WordPress. And then and I know the default theme gets installed because I just did it yesterday with a new site, but the WordPress templates, I don't know if you guys give extra templates. I don't think you do. No.
No.
No, because you don't need to, because there's so much in the WordPress community. So yeah, so once you install your WordPress site inside GreenGeeks, you can easily log in, and then in your admin dashboard, you then can add themes, everything I've been talking about today.
Right, that's correct. Okay, let's see. We have Gisela. If you have an existing website, what should you be looking at when switching themes?
If you have an existing website, what should you be looking at when switching themes? So if you don't like your theme and you're wanting something else, you should go through the steps that I outlined. And let me just ask Anna and Erica, do you guys have staging for your in GreenGeeks hosting? It's okay if you don't, because I have a workaround if you don't have staging.
I am not sure about that.
So this is what you can do, because in your GreenGeeks account, you can create as many WordPress installs as you want. So what you can do is keep your site, because your site's live on the internet, and then you can make like a test area. And then you can try out your site in this test area before you affect your actual hosted site. So I've done that. I did that when I was changing my theme. I didn't want to mess with my site because it's live on the internet and I'm getting traffic. So I copied it into a test area and then played around with it. And when I picked the theme I want, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is going to be good. Then I did it on a weekend where I then installed a new theme and switched it up. So that's not hard to do at all. And GreenGeeks doesn't charge you if you want to make a test area.
Great, thank you. Penny is asking, are there themes that are particularly good for podcasts and online courses?
Podcasting, this is a great question. Podcasting and WordPress is like, they go, it's like milk and cookies. They go really, really well together. So any theme will work well with your podcast. So the podcast is part of your blog. So when you look at a theme, look at how the blog looks, and then your podcast will work with it. So it's like WordPress is like made for podcasting. They just
That's
totally
great.
go together. So just look at how you like the look of it.
Thank you. Okay, Michael is asking what types of image files can be used, recommended. What is the minimum resolution? Great question.
So you definitely don't want too large of an image. So I know when you upload an image into WordPress, and I forget the exact number, it'll shrink it down to 2,500 pixels. So if you're buying or if you're downloading stock photography, they usually give you at 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 pixels wide. You do not want to upload a 5,000 pixel wide image to your website because it's not needed. So, whatever the monitor size is, your site will run faster the smaller the image is. So, you could start with 2,500 and then just go down. I hope I'm answering the question correctly. You just don't want images that are really huge. Like, for example, what you see on my screen. So this screenshot of my PDF, there's no reason to have it huge inside my site in the media library because I'll never display it that big. So,
Okay.
you know, you can make them smaller, and there's I didn't put it in the presentation, but tinypng.com. Tinypng.com is, you can upload your images and it will shrink the weight of the image. I hope I'm not going too far off on a tangent, but
Oh.
there's the size of the image and then there's the weight, like how heavy it is. So you deal with size first. So don't have it 6,000. You know, I often eyeball things at like 800, but it depends if it's a header, like this is a header image. All right, I think we should go on because I could talk forever.
Yes.
Yes, I could talk forever about that.
Bill is asking if we can get if they can get a copy of the presentation. I
Well,
think
we'll
so,
have
right?
the replay, so you can just scroll through the replay.
Right, we'll have a recording. And Carl is asking, as a GreenGeeks customer, how do I keep my existing WordPress websites that uses the index HTML file while simultaneously installing learning using WordPress to create a new replacement website without impacting the current live website? Very long question.
Say that one more time.
So as a GreenGeeks customer, how do I keep my existing non-WordPress websites that use the index HTML file while simultaneously installing learning using WordPress to create a new replacement website without impacting the current live website?
So I think they're saying they have a website that's not a WordPress site. They have an HTML site. I think that's what
Right.
they're asking. So GreenGeeks lets you create like another folder of your site so that you can learn to build WordPress and rebuild it in this other way. Another thing I've done is bought my domain name with a number 2 if I don't want to work in some funky folder. So just buy your domain name with a number 2. It'll cost you another $15, right? Domain names are cheap. And then rebuild your site in WordPress with the number 2, and you can hide it from the search engines. And then when it's the way you like it, you can talk to GreenGeeks about merging it in and making it your home page.
That's great. Paul is asking, do you have any advice for making my website accessible for the hearing impaired?
So for the hearing impaired, you're going to want to have captions if you have videos. But one of the important, hearing impaired, right? So they can see, but they can't hear. So you want to have captions. For the visually impaired, you want to make sure all your images have alt text, and that's in your media library. It's called, I think it's called the alt description. So describe all your images. That's very easy to do. You do it in the media library.
That's right. Let's see. Chris is asking, can you talk about using a child theme, what they are, the benefits, and how to set up? That's
Okay.
a big question.
Child themes. So here's my take on a child theme. So I teach mainly non-techie people how to build their websites with WordPress so they can be totally empowered. I don't teach people how to be theme designers. So when you read online, you'll read people will say, oh, you have to have a child theme. Well, if you're a designer and you're going into the code and you're changing the code, yeah, you have to have a child theme. But for regular folk, you don't have to have a child theme. So then let me just explain what a child theme is. So a child theme is like a subset of your theme that if you're going to change the code, you do it in the child theme so that when the parent theme updates, the updates are integrated and all your customizations don't get lost. but we're talking about code customizations, not the customizer. So I've only used a child theme once because there was something I really, really wanted, and the only way I could get it was I had to change code. But most of the time, I don't feel you have to have it.
Okay. Thank you. Grant is asking, Elementor versus Divi, is one better or easier than the other?
That's really a matter of preference. I wouldn't say one's easier than the other. So the thing about Elementor is you can start with their free version of the plugin. So it makes it a little bit easier to get started with Elementor, but both are popular. Both let you have amazing, amazing sites. So
Yeah, it's hard
just
to
kind of a
say.
preference.
Yeah, it is a preference. Walter is asking, when you activate a new theme, does that make the theme site live?
When you activate a new theme, the new theme will be live on your site. Yes.
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 It will be, the new
It
theme
will
will
be
be live.
live. It'll be live immediately. Now, what you can do is you can use an under construction plugin, but then that takes your whole site offline. You know, and under construction is you go to the website and it says this site is under construction.
Yeah. Linda is asking, what is your opinion about using Google Sites? Recommend or not?
Well, here's my feeling about I have not used them, but my feeling about Google is if you have a problem, there's no one to call. There's no one to contact, you know. And like I said with GreenGeeks, they are super responsive. Like you need help, you just go to the chat and I get my answers right away. So I don't really recommend Google sites. They're talking about hosting, or are they talking about buying a domain name? Either way, there's no one to call, right? There's
no one to call.
there's no one to call. You can't get a hold of them. And look, why give Google more power than it actually needs? It already has way too much
Already
power.
has a lot of power. Yes.
Yeah, they got too much power. So I would shy away from that.
Okay. Let's see. Robin said you mentioned the Hestia theme several times. What is it that you especially like about that theme?
What I especially like about the Hestia theme is that right out of the box, it looks really good. Like you don't have to do a lot and it looks good immediately. That's what I like about it. And it you don't have to be too, like I said, you don't have to be too fancy. Like I use Divi a lot too, and you kind of have to do more and you have to learn more and you have to get deeper into it. So I really like Hestia. Well, there's other free themes I like. I like Ash as well too, but that's the reason. And I like the way the blog looks on Hestia.
Okay, let's see. Marcus is asking, who are some of the top reputable companies who supply themes?
Well, like I mentioned, Elegant Themes, they make the Divi theme. Studio Press used to be a really big deal years ago, and they're not so much a big deal now. Hestia's from Theme Isle, so I like them. But I kind of don't have theme companies. It's more the theme that I like.
Okay.
But I would, again, start with the free themes and then move to Pro if you want the Pro version.
Thank you. We have another question here from John. Can you make a subdomain to install a test WP's website instead of buying a new domain?
So the way it works on the back end, I put them in a folder versus using a subdomain, because subdomains kind of scramble with my head a bit, and because it's like test.yourdomain.com, and I just find it easier to use a like /test. So you don't have to buy a whole, you don't have to buy a new domain name if you want. I just did it because I sort of found it easier, but you don't have to. So
You don't have to.
go inside your GreenGeeks and just install it in a folder. Now, I don't have an example to show.
Okay, so we have John here. Have you used the Spectra WordPress theme builder, which works with and enhances the default WP block editor?
I have not used that, so you can try it out. Now, there's also like Theme Forest. Now, some people like Theme Forest, some people don't. That's like a marketplace where people sell their themes. So I tend to, when I find a theme company I like, I tend to stick with them because if I build multiple websites, I already know the theme well. So if you're a designer here, you know, find a company that you like and then stick with them, and they might have different versions and they might have different templates, but that's what I do.
Great.
And some people were saying this link wasn't working. It should be working, but you can also email me or contact me if it's not working.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Is it working for you? Maybe I typed it in wrong.
They're saying the website creation class.com doesn't work.
I thought I had seen that, but it doesn't.
Oh,
Well, you
doesn't.
have to click to download and you have to enter a pop-up comes up. So it might be you've got a pop-up blocker.
Yeah, probably.
But you can also go to websitecreationworkshop.com.
Yes.
Yeah, I use website creation class when I have different landing pages. But my main website is Website Creation Workshop.
Great. Thank you.
So
we're kind of like towards the end of our presentation. So if anybody has any additional questions, what is the best way to contact you? The websitecreation.com, your email?
You can email me at Christina@websitecreationworkshop.com or go to my websitecreationworkshop.com website. And you can connect with me on Twitter or Facebook as well. But probably going to my website is the best.
The
And
best.
hopefully, and now someone's saying they were able to download it. You'll click download now and a pop-up will come up. So just make sure you don't have a pop-up blocker.
Thank you. Yeah, that sounds good. Well, thank you, Christina. It has been a really great pleasure to have you. You're so good at presenting. You're so thorough with your information. And just thank you so much for being here. If we didn't get to all the questions, apologies, but people can contact you right after this with additional questions. And thank you, Erica, for being here with us today. And,
thank you, Anna, and thank you, Christina.
And thank you for everyone who stayed and listened to us, and stay tuned for more webinars. We will email you additional webinars, and also you can visit greengeeks.com/webinars, which is our webinar site. And we will send the recording in a few days to everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye, Christina. Bye, Anna.
Bye, Christina. Bye, Erica. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.